So please begin by lying down on your back. So hopefully a nice easy-ish class today, just as it's the first class back after the break. I've just got a little pad to support my head as I'm lying down here, and you might need the same if you find that the head is tilted back. And then please have the legs long to begin with, just a comfortable distance apart. And then bring your attention to your right foot and begin just to gently point and flex the right foot. So when you point the foot, you send the toes away from you, and when you flex the foot, you send the heel away from you. But as you're flexing the foot in particular, just be careful you don't flex or send the heel away so much that the heel lifts off the mat. You want to keep the heel in contact with the mat, just to stop you pressing the back of the knee down too much into the floor. And then pause, and then bring your attention to the left foot and begin to just point and flex the left foot as it lies. So again, as you're pointing, you're sending the toes away. As you're flexing, you're drawing the toes towards the knee and sending the heel away. Good. Just a few more. And then pause. Think you have these markers on your big toes, and then begin to trace some circles in space with your big toe markers. But make sure it's not just the big toe that's moving, it's the whole of the foot effectively. Particularly the heel is part of these circles. And you can perhaps feel how the movement, if you're keeping the heels digging into the mat slightly, just reverberates throughout the whole length of the spine. And then reverse the direction of these circles, still thinking of the big toes leading the movement. And then pause and put the markers on your little toes in your imagination, and then again continue to make some large generous circles, thinking of leading with the little toe side of the feet. And then pause and then reverse the direction of those circles, so still with the little toe side of the foot leading the movement. Good. And then pause, bring both feet to standing, so bend the knees, have the feet and knees a comfortable distance apart, and then think you're lying on that clock again, so 12 o'clock is towards the head in the clock, and 6 o'clock is towards the feet. Could you begin to press both feet down into the floor to roll your pelvis to 12 o'clock, and then think of the feet becoming light to roll the pelvis to 6 o'clock towards the feet. So you press down into both feet evenly to roll the pelvis to 12 o'clock. And then you think, it's almost as if you're going to lift the feet off the floor to help you arch the lower back. So just a few more, using the legs to help you, pressing down into the feet going 12 o'clock. And then you think of the feet becoming light to go to 6 o'clock. Good. And then pause somewhere in the middle. And then please lengthen your left leg, so keep the right leg bent. And then begin to do a movement of pressing down into the right foot so as to roll the pelvis to the left, but also towards the left shoulder. So you might find you need to pull in the tummy a little bit more firmly to make sure that the lower back on the left-hand side is going down towards the floor. And as you press into the right foot, try to keep the knee looking towards the ceiling, so you're not tilting it to the inside. And if you can manage to do that, you'll get this lovely opening in the right groin, the right hip joint. Good. And then pause and please change legs. So you have the left leg bent up and the right leg long. Careful that the left foot isn't too close to the right leg, so you might just need to take it out to the side. And then begin to press into the left foot to roll the pelvis to the right. So press down firmly into the foot, try to keep the knee looking towards the ceiling, and again you might just need to pull in the tummy a little bit more firmly on the right hand side to make sure that you're aiming the movement more towards that right shoulder. And then just do one more nice easy breathing, and then let the pelvis come back down, and then change the legs around once more. So right leg standing, left leg is long, and now this time have your left arm out to the side on the floor at shoulder height with the palm turned towards the ceiling. And then bring your right hand onto the breastbone, just the fingertips really, and then begin to reach your right hand across yourself along, make sure it's touching the left arm, to try and bring the two hands closer together, so you turn the head and eyes to look towards the hand, and then roll back onto the back. So again, you take a breath in. As you breathe out, begin to caress your right arm along the left arm, pressing into the right foot as necessary to help you bring the hands closer together, and then slowly return to the back. So you don't want to fall back onto the back, you want to roll through the back to come back. And then again, reach with the right hand across yourself towards the left hand, pressing into the foot, and then return. Now, the next time you do this, try and keep the head and eyes looking towards the ceiling this time, as if you're looking over the right shoulder towards the right heel, and then return to the back. So just going to do that a couple more times. So you're reaching with the right hand across yourself, pressing into the foot, but keeping the head and eyes looking towards the ceiling, and then return to the back. And then once more, reach across with the right hand towards the left, nice easy breathing, and then come back. And then return to looking towards the hands. So again, you turn the head and eyes towards the hands as you reach across with the right hand to the left, and then return to the back. And now, if your shoulder mobility permits, begin to take your left arm a little bit higher on the floor. So just a little bit to begin with, and then begin to reach across with the right hand towards the left hand, looking with the head and eyes, and then return back to the starting position. And then each time, if your shoulder mobility permits, begin to take the left arm a little bit higher and higher on the floor as you're reaching the two hands together. Again, remember you can press into the foot to help you achieve that reach. Good. And then come all the way back to centre. Now, bring the left arm down by your side, and then change the legs around once more. So your left leg is bent up, your right leg is long. Again, careful not to have the left foot too close to the right leg. And this time, take your right arm out to the side at shoulder height, palm turned towards the ceiling, and begin to reach your left hand across yourself, looking with the head and eyes as you try and bring the two hands together, and then slowly roll all the way on to the back. So again, you reach across with the left hand towards the right, pressing into the left foot as necessary to help you, and then return to the back. And then the next time, keep the head and eyes looking towards the ceiling. So you're still reaching across with the left hand towards the right, but trying to keep the head and eyes looking towards the ceiling, the jaw nice and soft, and the breath nice and easy. Just going to do a couple more like that. So why we do this is just to differentiate the movement of the head and the neck from the chest, just to sort of free up those muscles. So one more again, just looking over the shoulder as you reach the left hand across to the right, and then return back to centre. And now, begin to take your right arm progressively higher on the floor, so you reach across with the left hand towards the right, turn the head and eyes again this time to see where the hands are going, and then return to the back. And then just a couple more like that, just seeing can you each time just take the right arm incrementally higher on the floor to bring the hands together. Good. And then one more time, reaching turning the head and eyes to bring them together. Good. And then come all the way back onto the back. Just bring the arms back down by the side, and then fold your right knee in towards the chest. So take hold of the right knee with the left hand, so right knee with the left hand, and then just allow the lower leg to dangle. So don't try and hold the shin up into the air or the foot into the air, just let the lower leg dangle. And then bring the right palm behind the back of the head. Take a good breath in, and as you breathe out, try and bring the elbow and the knee closer together. So you lift the head and shoulders, and as you inhale, release the head and shoulders back down. So again, take a breath in. As you exhale, blow the air out, try and soften in the ribs to bring the elbow and the knee towards each other. Inhale to release back down. And then one more time like this. So take a good breath in. Exhale, see if you can fold in the center, and then inhale to come back down. Now keep the right hand behind the back of the head and change the legs. So it's left leg in towards the chest, left hand takes hold of the left knee, and you take a breath in. As you breathe out, try and fold again to bring the elbow and the knee towards each other. Inhale, release back down. So hopefully you're not feeling any strain in the neck, it's really the chest that has to move. Take another breath in. As you exhale, fold the elbow and the knee towards each other. Inhale to release back down. And then one more time, take a breath in. Exhale, fold, try and bring the 2 points closer together. Inhale to release back down. Now keep the left knee in towards the chest and just switch hands. So it's the right hand on the left knee, the left hand comes behind the back of the head. Take a good breath in. As you exhale, try and fold the elbow and the knee towards each other. Inhale to release back down. 2 more to do. Take a breath in. As you exhale, fold together. Inhale to release back down. And then one more time, inhale, exhale, use the breath to help you. And then inhale to release back down. Now keep the left hand behind the head and just change the legs again. So it's the right hand on the right knee, left hand behind the head. Take another breath in. As you exhale, see if you can fold the elbow and the knee towards each other. Inhale to release back down. Again, 2 more. Take a breath in. Exhale, fold the elbow and the knee towards each other. Inhale to release back down. And then one more time, take a breath in. Exhale, fold the elbow and the knee towards each other. Inhale to release back down. Good. And then pause, just bring the arms back down by the side, just for a moment. And then this time, can you bring both legs in towards the chest? Wrap the left forearm behind the backs of the thighs or behind the backs of the knees. Bring the right hand behind the back of the head. Take a good breath in. As you exhale, lift the head to look towards the tummy as you stretch the heels straight up towards the ceiling, and then inhale to release back down. You can imagine you're just sliding the feet up a wall. So you take a breath in. As you exhale, extend the legs as you lift the head to look at the tummy. Inhale to release back down. And then one more time, take a breath in. Exhale, fold up. You'll feel it much more in the middle set of abdominals of this exercise. Inhale to release back down. And then just switch arms. So it's the right arm behind the backs of the thighs. Left hand is behind the back of the head. Take another breath in. As you exhale, just slide the feet up the imaginary wall as you lift the head to look at the tummy. Inhale to release back down. And then 2 more like this. Take another breath in. Exhale to fold up. Inhale to release back down. And then one more time. Take another breath in. Exhale, slide the feet up that imaginary wall. Inhale to release back down. Just bring the legs back down and bring the arms back down by your side, and then just very lazily roll the head and eyes to look to the one side and then towards the other. So use the eyes to help you by looking out into your room, so that you'll feel the nose or the chin is tracing a little arc from one shoulder towards the other. Good. And then come back to centre. Now please cross your right leg over the left and just have the arms comfortably down by your side. And as you inhale, begin to tilt the knees to the right as you breathe in. And as you exhale, pull in the lower tummy to help bring the legs back to centre. So again, you inhale to allow the knees to tilt to the right as you breathe in. Exhale, pull the tummy in to bring the legs back to centre. And you're trying to only let the knees tilt as far as you can keep the left shoulder down. Exhale, bring the legs back to centre. Now the next time you tilt the knees to the right, look with the head and eyes to the left. Exhale, come back to centre. And two more like that. So knees to the right, head and eyes to the left. Exhale, come back to centre. And then one more time, knees to the right, head and eyes to the left, but pull the tummy in to bring the legs back to centre. Now pause and change the cross of the leg. So it's left leg crossed over the right, it's still with the arms down by the side. And as you inhale, begin to tilt the knees to the left. As you exhale, pull the tummy in to bring the legs back to centre. So knees to the left, breathing in. Exhale, pull the tummy in to come back to centre. And then one more time, knees to the left, breathe in. Exhale, pull the tummy in to come back to centre. And now the next time, add the head and eyes. So head and eyes to the right as the knees go to the left, breathing in. Exhale, bring everything back to centre together. And once more, knees to the left and the head and eyes to the right. Exhale, pull the tummy in to come back to centre. We've just got one more to do like that. So you inhale, knees to the left, head and eyes to the right. Exhale, pull the tummy in to come back to centre. Now uncross the legs, keep the feet and knees a hip distance apart. And then as you breathe in, bring the right knee in towards the chest. And this time, keep the right leg in a tabletop position. So in other words, you are actually lifting the shin and the foot, so it's kind of parallel to the floor. And then as you exhale, turn the leg out in the hip, so the sole of the right foot reaches to the inside of the left knee. And then as you inhale, stretch the leg long up towards the ceiling with a point. As you flex, lower the leg until it hovers an inch or so off the mat. Point the foot, turn it back into parallel, and bring the leg back in towards the chest. Exhale, turn the leg out in the hip. Inhale, reach the leg long up towards the ceiling with a point. As you exhale, flex to lower the foot, but not to touch the floor. Inhale, point, turn in, fold it back in. Exhale, turn it out in the hip. Inhale, reach the leg long up towards the ceiling with a point. As you exhale, lower to hover an inch or so off the mat. Point, turn in, float it back in, and then carefully put the foot back down on the floor. Now inhale to fold the left knee in towards the chest. Keep the lower back down if possible. As you exhale, turn the leg out in the hip, so the sole of the foot is facing the inside of the right knee. Inhale to stretch the leg long up towards the ceiling with a point. As you exhale, lower the leg to hover, not to touch. Point, turn in, and float it back in towards the chest. Exhale, turn the leg out. Inhale, reach it up towards the ceiling with a point. As you exhale, lower to hover. Point, turn in, float it back in. One more time. Exhale, turn the leg out. Inhale, up towards the ceiling with a point. As you exhale, lower to hover. Point, turn in, float it back in, and then carefully put the foot all the way back down. Now take another breath in, and then exhale, pull in the lower tummy to make sure the lower back is down. and then inhale to float the right leg back in towards the chest. As you exhale, turn the leg out, reach the leg long up towards the ceiling with a point again, and now this time it's Batman, the exercise. So you flex the heel, lower to hover, point, and bring it straight back up towards the ceiling. So you flex to lower, inhale to lift, exhale to flex and lower, inhale to point and lift, exhale to float to lower and hover, point, inhale, bring it back up, exhale to lower, point to bring it back up, and one more time, flex to lower, inhale to bring it back up. Carefully bring the leg back in and then push it back down on the floor, and then we have to do the other side, but really try and keep the lower back down. So you inhale to bring the left leg in towards the chest first, tabletop position, exhale, turn it out, reach the leg long up towards the ceiling with a point, and then flex to lower, the leg is long, and point to lift. Flex to lower, and then point to lift. Flex to lower, point to lift, flex to lower, and point to lift. Got two more to do. Flex to lower, point to lift. Last time, flex to lower, and point to lift. Carefully fold the leg back in, bring the foot back down onto the floor, and then please roll to the side and come up onto all fours for some cat stretches. So, cat stretches, you want to have the hands underneath the shoulders and the knees underneath the hips to begin with. It's very easy if you're looking at the screen to have the thighs slanting slightly, which would mean the hip joints are closing. So just make sure that the thighs are vertical and that your hands are underneath the shoulders. If your wrists are a bit iffy, you can always do it on fists, but otherwise have the hands flat on the floor. Now just think of drawing your shoulders away from the ears. Take a good breath in, and as you exhale, blow the air out, let the head release towards the floor as you pull in the tummy and the ribs to round the back. Now inhale here, as you exhale, begin to push out the tummy as you point the tailbone up towards the ceiling, just to bring you into a gentle extension. So again, take a good breath in. As you exhale, blow the air out to round the back up, releasing the head. Inhale to hold, and then exhale, point the tailbone up towards the ceiling to come into a gentle extension. Now pause and turn the fingers to face each other if you're on flat palms, and have the elbows slightly soft. Just be careful as you've changed the hand position that you've not drawn the shoulders up towards the ears. You want to try and keep them drawing down the back. Take another breath in. As you exhale, blow the air out as you round the back up towards the ceiling. Inhale to hold, and then exhale, point the tailbone up towards the ceiling to come into an extension. And again, take another breath in. Exhale, blow the air out. You're trying to evenly round the back, but keeping the shoulders away from the ears. Inhale, and then exhale, reverse that movement into an extension. Now, change the hand position again, so this time the fingers, if possible, are facing out to the side. Again, just be careful you've not brought the shoulders up towards the ears. Take a breath in, and then as you exhale, blow the air out, round the back up. Inhale, and then exhale, reverse. If you've been doing a lot of gardening, this is such a good exercise to relieve the back. Take another breath in. As you exhale, blow the air out to release the head and pulling in the tummy and the ribs. Inhale, and then exhale, reverse. Now pause, have the fingers facing forward, and this time, if you can, come down onto the forearms. So, but as you come down onto the forearms, really be careful that your elbows aren't flaring out to the side. You want to make sure your elbows are gathered in underneath the shoulders, just so you're protecting the shoulder joint. And then again, take another breath in. As you exhale, pull in the tummy, and it's as if you're trying to brush the floor with the crown of the head as you look towards the knees. Inhale, and then exhale, reverse. So again, take a breath in. exhale, blow the air out. You'll feel as you do this movement, if you keep the head low, how you get much more of a curl in the area of the lower back. Those back muscles that often get very tight after being in the garden, and then reverse. And then one more time, take another breath in. As you exhale, blow the air out to around the back. Inhale and then reverse. Please come back onto all fours again. So start it once more in this all fours position. Take a breath in, and now as you exhale, round the back and begin to move the pelvis back towards the heels as you look underneath yourself, and then look forward as you inhale and then come back onto all fours. So again, you take a breath in. As you exhale, it's as though I've got hold of your pelvis and I'm lifting you up and back towards the heels as you round the back. If you have any issue, just go to where you comfortably can, and then begin to look forward. Let the head and eyes lead you back into the starting position. And now stay looking forward, and just see if you can sit the bottom back towards the heels. If you need to walk the hands in, that's absolutely fine, and then come forward onto all fours again. Once more, stay looking forward. It's as though the sit bones are going to dock back on both the heels as you're looking forward, and then come back onto all fours. And now this time, send the pelvis back towards the right heel, still looking forward if possible, and then come back to all fours. And then see if you can send the pelvis back towards the left heel, still looking forward, and then come back onto all fours. And then once more, just send the pelvis back towards the right heel, and if you can, just as if wiggle your bottom, as if you just wanted to polish the right heel with the right buttock, just a few movements, and then come forward again, and then send the pelvis back towards the left heel, and again just see if you can wiggle the pelvis around that heel. You'll feel if there's some movement going on in the ribs to help you to do this. Now come back onto all fours, and now just see, can you walk the hands back? Again, if you've got a knee issue, just go to where you comfortably can, but for others they'll be able to sit on the heels, and it's a powerful stretch for the front of the foot and the front of the thigh muscles. And then come forward again, this time curl your toes under, and see once more, can you just sit back towards the heels to get this very powerful stretch for the toes and the plantar side of the foot. And then come forward again, point the toes once more, and once more just see if you can walk back to allow the weight to sink down into the heels, and then come forward, curl the toes under once more, and then again just see, can you let the weight come into the heels to get that stretch. Ideally you're trying to feel the weight, the pressure going down into that sweet spot between the big and the second toe. Good. Now come forward, point the fingers towards each other once more. Keep a softness in the elbows. Take a breath in, and as you breathe out, slide the right hand, the back of the right hand on the floor underneath the left arm, as you bring the shoulder down, looking towards the ceiling. Inhale, and then exhale to come back to center. And then we go to the other side. So you take a breath in. As you exhale, slide the back of the left hand away from you as you look towards the ceiling. Inhale, and then exhale, come back. And then one more each side. So you take a breath in, exhale, slide the right hand away from you, and then inhale, exhale, come back. And then last time, left arm, take a breath in, slide the back of that arm as far away from you as you comfortably can. Inhale, and then come back to center. And then please come and lie down on your back again. So come to lie down on the back and have the arms just comfortably down by your side. Keep the feet hip distance apart, and then take a breath in, and as you breathe out, push the feet down into the floor once more, as we did at the beginning, to begin to curl the pelvis towards that 12 o'clock position, and then inhale, release the pelvis back down. So just waking up that movement again. Take a breath in. As you exhale, push the feet down into the floor. Begin to curl the pelvis towards you. And then if you can, begin to peel the spine off the mat, vertebrae by vertebrae, until you come to the area just between the shoulder blades. Inhale to hold, and then exhale, keep the curl in the pelvis as you peel the spine back down, one vertebrae after the other, till your lower back lands, and then you release into neutral. Once more, take a breath in, exhale, push the feet down into the floor, begin to peel the spine up. That's it, just careful you're not bringing the weight just onto the outside edges of the feet as you do this. You want to try and use the whole of the foot. Inhale, and then exhale, peel all the way back down, and then release. Now, if you have the space, bring your arms out to the side, so they're long out to the side at shoulder height, palms face towards the ceiling. And then as you inhale, think of the middle fingers reaching away from each other on the floor. In other words, you broaden the shoulder blades. And then as you exhale, press down through the feet to begin to peel the spine up once more to that area just between the shoulder blades. Inhale and keep reaching the arms away from each other. As you exhale, peel the spine all the way back down till the lower back lands, and then you release into neutral. Once more, inhale, reach the hands away from you. As you exhale, press into the feet to curl all the way up. Inhale to keep reaching the arms away from each other. As you exhale, peel the spine back down, one vertebrae after the other, till you land all the way back down into neutral. Now this time, bring the arms up towards the ceiling so the palms are facing each other. Just be careful to keep the arms long but soft. If you hyperextend in the elbows, if you know you do that, just try and keep a sense of the arms slightly bent, and check your shoulders are down. Take a breath in. As you exhale, press down into the feet to begin to peel the spine up, still keeping the hands and the jaw soft. Inhale at the top, and then exhale, peel all the way back down to release into neutral. Once more, take a breath in. Exhale, peel all the way up. Keep the jaw and the hands and the wrists soft as you come up. Inhale, and then peel all the way back down, and then release. Just bring the arms back down by your side for a moment, and then once more just roll the head and eyes a little bit from one side to the other, and then come back to centre, and then bring your arms once more up towards the ceiling, palms facing each other. Again, try and keep the hands and the wrists soft, and a certain softness in the elbows, and then think of reaching the arms up towards the ceiling, not by pulling the arms up with the hands, but by your shoulders lifting away from the mat. They broaden and lift. As you exhale, just drop the shoulders back into the mat. And again, inhale, think of your shoulders broadening and lifting up towards the ceiling. Exhale, drop the shoulders back into the mat. And then one more time, inhale, think of separating the shoulder blades to lift the arms. Exhale, drop the shoulders down into the mat. Now pause, turn the palms towards the knees. Again, try and keep the hands and the wrists soft, the elbows soft, but feel the weight in the shoulders. Try and keep the weight in the shoulders. Inhale, and as you exhale, extend one arm overhead and the other down by the hip. And then inhale, come back to centre. Take a breath in, and then exhale again. Scissor the arms, so one hand goes overhead, the other down by the hips. Inhale, come back to centre. So you really just need to be careful here that your ribs aren't lifting and lowering away from the mat. So you want to try and keep the ribs connected and pulling down into the mat. So you take a breath in, and again scissor one arm overhead and the other down by the hip, and then inhale, come back to center, and then once more to the other side, scissor but without lifting the ribs away from the floor, and then exhale, come back to center. And now for some circles. So again, you take a breath in, exhale, begin to circle both arms overhead, but watch the ribs, and then bring the arms down by the side, and then inhale to the top, back to the starting position. And then again, exhale, blow the air out as you reach the arms round in a lovely circle. Inhale to come back to the top, and then once more overhead, all the way around. Inhale to the top and pause. And now reverse the direction of the circle, so they come down by the hips, reach all the way around, inhale to the top, and then two more like this, down by the hips, all the way around, inhale to the top, and then last time, down, reach all the way around, inhale to the top, good, and then pause, just rest the arms back down by the side. And then please come to lie. So I'm going to lie on my left hand side first of all, with the knees bent up, and I've got a little bit of support for the head here, just to make sure there's no strain in the neck. So you want to have your feet and knees bent up as if you're sitting but lying down on the side, so one knee is stacked on the other, and then just have the arms stretched out in front of you at shoulder height. And then begin to move your right arm, so for me it's the right arm because that's the top side, just begin to slide the arm forward on the mat, and then as you inhale, and then exhale, bring it back to the starting position. So your inhale, just slide the arm away from you, and then exhale, bring it back. Once more, inhale, just slide it away from you on the floor, and then exhale, bring it back. Now this time, just as you inhale, just slide the arm a little bit towards you, but try and keep the arm long. So don't bend the elbow, just bring it back. And so what you should feel, hopefully, is as if your shoulder blade, your right shoulder blade, is dragging the arm back a little bit, because that shoulder blade is moving back and down towards the spine. And then begin just to combine the two movements of the arm just reaching a little bit forward, being pushed forward by the shoulder blade rather than dragged by the hand, and then pulled back by the shoulder blade. So think shoulder blade forward, shoulder blade back. As the colder weather is coming, it's often the shoulders that get a little bit tighter. So you're just seeing, can you initiate this movement of the arm, going a little bit forward and a little bit back, because it's your right shoulder blade that's gliding on the rib cage, rather than just being stuck there. Good. Now pause, and then draw the right arm a little bit towards you. So you draw the shoulder blade back towards the spine. So do that first, and then inhale to turn the chest to lift the arm towards the ceiling, follow with the head and eyes, and then exhale, bring the hand back down to the starting position. So again, inhale, draw the shoulder blade back to the spine. So it's as though you're plugging the arm into the back first, and then you begin to lift the arm towards the ceiling by turning the chest and the ribs and the head and the eyes to look towards the ceiling, and then exhale, come back to the starting position. Once more, think shoulder back to the spine. Once you've done that, then begin to turn the breastbone, turn the head and eyes to look towards the ceiling, still keeping the hands and the wrists soft, and then exhale, come back to the starting position. And now pause and bring your right palm onto the forehead. Glue it there, but keep the elbow pointing forward so that you're looking at the crook of your elbow. And then begin to turn the chest once more so that the elbow points towards the ceiling, and then come back to the starting position. So the elbow is lifting towards the ceiling, but not because you're lifting it, if that makes sense. It's because you're turning the chest and the head and eyes towards the ceiling, and then exhale, come back to the starting position. And one more time, so you turn the chest to point the elbow towards the ceiling, and then some of you will be able to turn the chest even more, so that elbow begins to point towards the space behind you, and then exhale, come back to center. But again, can't stress this enough, not because you're lifting the elbow, it's because you're turning the spine, you're turning the chest to begin to point that elbow further behind you. In other words, your shoulder blade, your shoulder is moving around the long axis of the spine. As covered in chapter 3 of my book. So I had to get that plug in. So now pause and then bring your right hand to rest on the left hand once more, and then begin again to draw the right shoulder back to the spine, and then once more begin to take the arm towards the ceiling, not because you're lifting the arm, but because you're turning the chest and the head and eyes. And then some of you will be able to take that arm further behind you because your shoulder blade has moved down towards the floor. And then as you inhale, turn the chest and use the pelvis to bring yourself back to the starting position. So once more, plug the shoulder back into the spine, and then begin to turn the chest, to turn the arm towards the ceiling, and then begin to take the arm further behind you because you've turned the chest. Good, rather than dropping the arm, and then carefully come back to center. Good. Now pause on the side, bring your attention to your right leg, and then begin to do a movement of lifting the right foot away from the left one, but keeping the knees together, and then carefully put the foot back down. So you begin to lift the right foot away from the left, keeping the knees together, and then carefully bring it back down. What you'll feel as you're lifting the foot, the right femur begins to turn internally to help you lift the foot, and then bring the foot back down. But you should also feel a little movement of the right side of the pelvis. It's as though the right hip is hitching up towards the right armpit, and if you can allow that movement to happen, the foot will lift a little bit higher, but also suddenly the leg becomes super light because you're using your core muscles, your core, your pelvis, to assist with the lifting of the leg. Now pause, keep the foot down, and then lift the top knee away from the bottom one, and then carefully bring it back down. So keep the feet together, lift the right knee away from the bottom one, and then carefully bring it back down. And if you bring your attention to the right side of the pelvis, this time it's as if the pelvis is moving down and away from you to help with the lifting of the knee. So in other words, the lifting of the leg, it should feel super light because you're letting your pelvis and your spine and your ribs join in the movement. Good. And now alternate, lifting once the foot, keeping the knees together, letting the pelvis move forward and up, put the foot down and lift the knee, letting the pelvis move back and away from you. So again, you bring the knees together, lift the foot, allowing the pelvis to move, put the foot down, and then lift the knee, letting the pelvis move back and away from you. So although we're focusing, as we just do this a few more times, on the movement of the leg, it's actually bringing an awful lot of movement and change into the spine and the ribs. Good. Now pause And then please, so I'm just going to change my hand position so that my head is supported by the underneath arm, and my right hand is just on the floor a little bit in front of me. And then see if you can lengthen your right leg down and away from you on the mat. So as I lengthen that leg down, flex the foot, but keep your toes and your knees facing forward. And then inhale to flex the foot, exhale to lift the leg about hip height. Inhale to point the foot, exhale to carefully lengthen and lower. So inhale to flex, exhale to lengthen and lift. And you want to feel again as though the pelvis, the right side of the pelvis is just lifting a little bit in the direction of the head to help you with the lifting of the leg. Inhale to point the foot, and then exhale to carefully lower. So again, inhale to flex, exhale, use the pelvis to help till it's hip height, the leg. Inhale to point, and then exhale to lower. One more time, inhale to flex, exhale to lengthen and lift. Now keep it lifted. Come forward with the leg in a big arc, point the foot and take it back in a big arc, keeping it hip height. So forward with a flex and then back with a point. Good. Forward with a flex and then back with a point, and then forward with a flex and hold, and then pulse up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold, carefully take the leg back and then let it release back down. Now this time lengthen your underneath leg, your left leg long and underneath away from you, and your right leg can either be straight on the floor in front of you or slightly bent. Keep the underneath leg pointed, and then inhale to think of lengthening as though someone's got hold of your big toe and is pulling that leg long and away from you, and then exhale to lift it a little bit. Inhale to hold, and then exhale to lower. So you inhale to lengthen it on the floor first, exhale to lengthen and lift, inhale to hold, and then exhale to lengthen and lower. So inhale to lengthen, exhale to lengthen and lift, inhale to hold, and then exhale to lower. And then one more time, inhale to lengthen, exhale to lengthen and lift, and hold, and now pulse up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold, and then carefully lower. Good. And then please come and lie on your other side to do the other side. So start with the knees bent up initially, and then have the two arms in front of you. And then once you're in position, begin to combine the movement of taking the left arm forward and back a little bit. So you can allow the head and eyes to roll, left arm forward and back. But see if you can think again this movement not by pulling the arm forward, it's being pushed forward by the shoulder and brought back by the shoulder. So it's your shoulder blade that's moving away from the spine to bring the arm forward. It's the shoulder that's drawing back to the spine to bring the arm back. Just forward and back a few times. Good. And then pause, draw the shoulder back to the spine, keep the wrist and arms soft, and begin to turn the chest, the head and eyes towards the ceiling, and then as you exhale, carefully bring the hands back together. So remember, you initiate, draw the shoulder back first, so you engage those muscles around the shoulder, and then begin to turn the chest and the head and eyes towards the ceiling, and then exhale, come back to center. Again, although it looks as though the arm is being lifted, it's actually you're not lifting the arm, you're taking the arm towards the ceiling because you're turning the chest. You're moving from your middle rather than lifting the arm from arm muscles. So once more, draw the shoulder back to the spine, begin to turn the chest towards the ceiling, turning the head and eyes, and then exhale, come back to center. And then pause, bring the left palm onto the forehead, glue it there in your imagination, and stay looking at the crook of the elbow. And then begin to turn the elbow towards the ceiling, not because you're lifting the elbow, but because you're turning the chest and the head and eyes, and then exhale, come back to center. If you can keep this relationship of the nose and the mouth towards the elbow as you turn the chest, what you'll feel is your shoulder, your left shoulder, is beginning to go around the spine towards the floor behind you. So it's a twist. Once more, turning the chest to take the elbow up, and then exhale, come back to center. Now bring the left arm back onto the right arm, and then, so it's long but soft, and then once more draw the shoulder back to the spine, begin to turn the chest and the head and eyes towards the ceiling to lift the arm, and then see if you can take the arm further behind you, but not by dropping the arm and putting pressure in the shoulder, but because you've turned the chest and the head and eyes. You keep this sense of the shoulder plugged into the spine, and then exhale, come back to the starting position. So once more, plug the shoulder into the spine, inhale to turn the chest towards the ceiling, exhale to turn the chest even more to look to the space behind you, and then inhale, come up, exhale, bring the hands back to center. One more time, draw the shoulder back, turn the chest to turn the arm towards the ceiling, exhale, see if you can take the arm further behind you, but not by dropping, but by turning, inhale to come back up, and then exhale, bring the arms back together. Now please bring your attention to your top leg and begin to combine the movement straight away of lifting the top foot, allowing the pelvis to move forward and up, put the foot down, lift the knee to let the pelvis move back and away from you. So knee comes down, lift the foot, move the pelvis, put the foot down, lift the knee, let the pelvis move back and away from you. Knee down to lift the foot, foot down to lift the knee, knee down to lift the foot, foot down to lift the knee. Good. Now pause, and then lengthen your top leg down and away from you. Again, you can change the position of the hands, so the underneath hand is supporting the head and the left hand is just on the floor in front of you. And now keep the toes and the knee of the left leg pointing forward. You see, if you turn the knee and the toes towards the ceiling, it means you'll be using groin muscles as opposed to these muscles on the side of the leg. So keep the toes and knees facing forward. Inhale to flex, exhale to lengthen and lift till it's hip height. Inhale to point the foot, exhale to carefully lower. Inhale to flex the foot, exhale to lengthen and lift. Inhale to point the foot, exhale to carefully lower. Once more, inhale to flex, exhale to lengthen and lift, inhale to point the foot, and then exhale to carefully lower. Once more, inhale to flex, exhale to lengthen and lift. Now pause and hold here, and then come forward with a flex, point the foot, and take it back in a big arc just behind the line of the hip. Come forward with a flex, point the foot, take it back in a big arc. Come forward with a flex, it's a big hamstring stretch you're probably feeling. Point the foot and take it back in an arc. Come forward with a flex and back in an arc. And then on the next time, come forward with a flex and hold, still hip height, and then pulse up for 5, 4 with control, slowly, and then 2 and 1 and hold. And then carefully bring the leg all the way back down. And then change the leg, so your left right leg is long underneath you with a pointed foot, and the left leg is just supporting you on the floor somewhere in front, either long or slightly bent, either is fine. Inhale to lengthen that underneath leg away from you, as though it's being dragged away from you. And the reason for that is that suddenly all your inner thigh muscles begin to kick in and the knee is stabilized. Exhale to lengthen and lift, inhale to hold, and then lengthen to lower. So all the time you're thinking of length. So you inhale to lengthen, exhale to lengthen and lift. Keep lengthening as you inhale to hold, and then exhale to lengthen and lower. Again, inhale to lengthen, exhale to lengthen and lift. Keep the idea of lengthening as you hold, and then exhale to lower. Got 2 more to do. Inhale to lengthen, exhale to lengthen and lift. Keep lengthening as you inhale, and then exhale to lower. And now we go into the pulse. So you inhale to lengthen, exhale to lengthen and lift. Now inhale to hold and pulse up for 5. It's not a big movement. 4. Still thinking of lengthening. 3, 2. Just 1 more to go and hold. Good. And then carefully lengthen all the leg all the way back down and release. Please come to roll onto your front. Bring the hands by the chest. Lift the tummy to come into an all-fours position. Bring the big toes together and just allow your bottom to sit back towards the heels for a second, to rest the head down towards the mat, even if it doesn't touch, just to stretch out the back muscles. Good. And then look forward, come back onto all fours. Keep your toes curled under. Walk the hands back towards the knees. Lower the head. Lift the knees and the bottom to come up, and then pull the tummy up in to roll up through the spine to come up. And then just stand with your feet about hip distance apart, and then inhale to reach up. And then exhale down, and then we've got 2 more to do. So again, inhale to reach up, and exhale down, and then last time, inhaling and exhaling. Give yourself a clap. First class of term over.